Can the Big 12 produce a Clemson? Is that possible? Is that possible in this day and age of college football? Even if you're not going to go all the way to Clemson, because I understand the multiple national titles won by Dabo, can the Big 12 produce a legitimate national brand? I think there are precious few schools that really have that opportunity. And so I will give you the basic list here from the Big 12. Now, I will start off by saying that any team in the Big 12, if they win enough, if you win in the playoff enough, you can absolutely do this, because Arizona State is a perfect example here. The reason we're having this conversation is because Arizona State, I mean, more or less with one performance, one game that they didn't even win in the playoff, vaulted itself all the way up to number 11. Now, they don't get that opportunity without having a nice season, right? A 10-2 regular season, winning the Big 12 championship, all of that I understand. But it was really that one game that launched the conversation. They were 3-9 the year before. Nobody thought anything of Kenny Dillingham at Big 12 Media Days in 2024. Nobody was talking about that team at all in Vegas. Nothing. So you can flip this very quickly with performance in the playoff. So I wouldn't put that past any school. Whoever you want to talk about. UCF goes out and does it this year. Rich Rod goes out and does it this year. Brent Brennan goes out and does it this year in the playoff. You can flip that narrative around, because I don't think any of those schools are in like a worse perception standpoint, worse perception place than Arizona State was last year. Okay. But I think you got to look at this and be a little bit optimistic if you're a Big 12 fan and say, well, hey, look what happened there. Arizona State has the one season, the one performance against Texas, don't even finish the job when they should have. And the door to respect is cracked open. The door to trying to build a national brand is cracked open, because they were damn near in the top 10, when I think there's just such an aversion for anybody out there to put a Big 12 team in the top 10 of anything. I think no matter what, like you're swimming so far upstream on that, because the perception just is, well, that conference is not very good. I mentioned earlier, Arizona State not only gets the nod, but they get the nod when they lose their best player, who is 40% of their offensive production from last year. So think about, to prove my point about what you can do in the playoff, what would have happened if they won? Might be a preseason top 10 team. Okay. So anybody can do this with winning. Anybody can do this with winning. But I think there are some other schools that have built-in advantages that help you out in that conversation. And I would just say, if we're going to think about this like Mario Kart, you got to go win the race to win your national brand here, right? But if you are a school with some of these extra advantages, while you're winning along the way, you could hit the little mushroom that it gives you a speed burst, gives you a little bump. Sometimes when you hit those ramps and it sends you flying further, right? They speed you up over the ramp. It'd be like hitting one of those things. So you get a little extra boost while you're doing the same thing as somebody else. Everybody can get there, but it might be a little bit easier with a little bit of helping hand if you are one of these schools. Okay. Arizona State, I think, like, they've already just got a leg up by virtue of what they did last year. They had a really nice playoff performance. But if we're talking built-in advantages, I mean, you guys know who's coming number one these days in the Big 12. It's Texas Tech. It's Texas Tech, because of the perception and what this offseason has been like just for their profile. They have become a disruptor, which is exactly what Brett Yormark wants. It's what he loves. You've heard Tyrell Kirkham, the CMO of the Big 12, come on this show before and say, like, we're trying to be disruptors. Well, Texas Tech, love them or hate them, think they're going to succeed or not, Texas Tech has been a disruptor this offseason, because they signed the number 1 or number 2 portal class, depending on where you look. And they've already, with Alex Ojo, thank you to the Texas Tech fan who corrected me in the comments on that, with Alex Ojo and, Guyton, forgetting his first name. Anyway, the 5-star recruits that have already committed now in future classes, another one that's basically crystal balled to Texas Tech. They have really shaken up the apple cart, and they have gotten the attention of everybody, right? You know, somebody standing in a crowd jumps up on a table and screams like, hey, look at me. They've gotten everybody's attention. Doesn't mean that everybody's not going to look at them and then look right back away if it's not something captivating. Like, you got to win and finish it off. But Texas Tech has generated everybody's attention. And I think there is a thought now, like, oh, like, if Texas Tech wins, like, they could sustain this because they've got the billionaire with the money. So that helps. That helps. And there's also Texas Tech has a bunch of legitimate NFL talent because they went out and got all of the best defensive linemen that were out there in the portal. So that, again, helps. That's a leg up for Texas Tech. It is definitely a leg up for Texas Tech. I will say BYU. I think BYU has, a better brand than we may have given them credit for if the coaches are going to stick BYU at 23. Now, I think, or was it 24? I'm sorry. In the top 25. Okay. College football season is here, guys, and that means we all need to find good deals on tickets. All right. And the best place to do that is SeatGeek. I have to give a huge shout out to SeatGeek, the sponsor of today's video. With over 28 million downloads, SeatGeek is the #1 rated ticketing app. There are over 70,000 events listed on SeatGeek. So obviously college football is covered, but if you're a music guy like me, it's perfect for concerts. I'm buying a ton of concert tickets this fall. And I tell you what, I have my eye on those Holy War tickets for BYU and Utah coming up as well. And man, all you got to do is open up the app. It's perfect. You can go check what's going on here, find the green dots in the seat. That means they're good deals. Red dots, maybe not so much, but SeatGeek will help you find the best deals on seats depending on where it is that you are trying to sit. They're each rated on a scale of 1 to 10. Every ticket is backed by their buyer guarantee. And you guys know I'm here for you. I've got a code for you. Code Kurtz gets you $20 off your tickets. Again, that's code Kurtz for $20 off tickets at SeatGeek. $20 off your first purchase with promo code Kurtz. Make sure you just click the link in the description to download the app and have that code on hand and ready to go. Guys, I'm here to help you out. I've got your back. Hit up my friends at SeatGeek. I'll say yes, some of that might have to do with Jake Retzloff. But BYU, I've done plenty of videos on this channel about how that brand is continuing to move in the right direction. Football, basketball, everything's getting cooler in Provo. I think being in the Big 12 has helped elevate them. It's been a mutually beneficial relationship. They had an excellent season last year. People are taking notice of the recruiting wins like Ryder Lyons, everything that's happening on the basketball side, AJ DeBonsta, Rob Wright, and the NIL and resources that BYU has. I think they have a bit of an edge, not just because of the resources, but because of what people think of them now. It's trending upward in the right direction. Of course, I know some of you will hate this, but Colorado has some built-in advantages with Coach Prime being there. It's one that could be super fleeting. I mean, that could be gone tomorrow, not only because of the health issues, but if he wins and he goes and takes a different job, like we know about the flirtation openly, basically, with Jerry Jones and the Cowboys this offseason. Like, yeah, that could be one that disappears quickly, but it's at least there right now. Colorado has that built-in advantage, meaning you guys know as well as I do. I mean, if Colorado starts winning 10, 11 games every year and getting to the playoff, it's going to take off like a rocket. One of the stories that came out this week was that I think it was a BetMGM. Colorado's the most bet team in college football. When it comes to the over-unders, they're the most bet on both sides. They are the team where more people than anybody else have taken the over and more people than anybody else have taken the under. They're still a huge needle mover. And honestly, I almost broke that out into its own topic, thinking like, well, my thought has been Bill Belichick's going to suck up a lot of that oxygen and take up the same place, sort of the novelty college football coach viewership is going to tend to gravitate toward him this year as opposed to Coach Prime. Maybe there's enough for both to go around, and maybe Coach Prime continues with that. It's a big needle mover, man. And like it or not, it's good for the Big 12, and like it or not, it would give Colorado more of an edge here. And then I kind of just lumped the rest of the teams that I think at least have a little something, all just in one category, because to me, it's all kind of the same thing. Just some extra juice from being solid winning programs for the most part over the last 5 to 10 years. Some with higher highs and lower lows, some a little bit more just consistent. But that group to me is K-State, Utah, Oklahoma State, Baylor, Iowa State. Baylor is the one that's like kind of a different. They're different there because it's been more sporadic. Higher highs and then some low lows mixed in there, where like K-State, Utah, Oklahoma State, Iowa State have all just been pretty consistent. And so there is some brand equity there. There's notoriety that's been built up. Think about the principle that I've talked so many times about last year. At Oklahoma State, Utah, and K-State picked up there at the top of the Big 12 standings, actually been good. Big 12 would have had a much better shot at getting multiple teams into the playoff. That's just a reality. So At the end of the day, the key is one team's going to have to at least get to the playoff consistently. Certainly winning there would help. But at least be getting to the playoff consistently. Nothing will trump that. But if you're already at the table, okay, winning and getting to the playoff consistently is table stakes, get you to the table. Having those advantages that I just rattled off for everybody else there, get you some extra chips to compete with, right? And get you some extra chips to compete with when you're trying to build a brand. If the Big 12 is going to build a big brand, and that would be beneficial for the league. It's also something that in an era where everybody's, it's every man for himself, everybody's fighting for everything that they can get in terms of trying to build up their profile for Super League or next round of realignment, whatever it's going to be. That's obviously very, very helpful and important to all the schools out there.